Hi everyone, welcome to AHRK Encounter. I'm your host Maha, and I'm so excited to walk on this AHRK path with you. Today we will encounter technology through the lens of communication. Our guide Bernard Brashura will take us on a journey where we will encounter an amazing VIP along the way. This will be a good one. So let's begin our AHRK Encounter journey with this video.
AHRK is the lifestyle path to better choices. It empowers us to live life to the fullest and paves the way for people like you and me to discover our unique purpose and passion. Choosing to walk the AHRK path invites transformation and growth in 5 key areas of life: leadership, communication, mindset, community, and lifestyle. As we dive into these lenses, they redirect our focus and guide us into a deeper understanding of where we're at today and where we're going tomorrow. This is AHRK Encounter. Welcome.
And welcome to the AHRK Encounter. My name is Bernard Brashura, and today I bring you another exciting topic: technology through a lens of communication. One of the things about this topic is not everybody gets it. And the reason is we don't value the thing that we do so freely, so easily, which is communication, speaking, listening, paying attention. It's not something that we excel at, but we do it every day. Well, we don't understand it very well. And that's what we're here. We found an expert, someone that lives this topic day in and day out, and he communicates not just with the world, with himself, with his family, but he's going to communicate with all of us today. So welcome, Casey Cox.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, and you are an authority. And I say that you're an authority because you've made it a point to be an authority. You've studied it, you've loved it, you've celebrated, and most importantly is you live it out every day. It's important to you that you're understood, you're heard, and that others are understood. And so, welcome.
Well, thank you. And I love the way you just captured that. I think you did incredible in your communicating about what I value.
Well, I appreciate that. And so you're a VIP. I mean, we've talked about this, and it's something that you spend a lot of time pulling out of people their VIP. Mm-hmm. And it's my turn to pull it out of you today.
Go for it.
Your values. Well, let's put it this way. Your values, your identity, and your purpose when it comes to communication is anchored in your heritage. And that's the invitation, is for you to look back and pull what is your heritage when it comes to communication.
I think my heritage in the communication has to come through a line of education and faith. That really is deep, the desire to learn, to grow, to become better. And so in the education perspective, my grandparents had an opportunity to go to college, and that wasn't always very common at that age and that stage of life, and the wars and things that were going on in their lives, and yet they made a choice, and they didn't just stop with a education in high school. They both actually pursued and went and got masters and things like that, and it's like, whoa, that was my grandparents. Yeah. And so education as a pathway to improvement was very important. And then faith, it's like my great-great-great-great-grandfather somewhere in that journey was a preacher. And so there was always this perspective that it's not necessarily about attaining knowledge, but it's about life transformation. And so from a heritage point, I think that's where education and faith rise up, and being able to communicate what you are believing and learning and growing. And there's a lot of leadership in my background. Not all that were really honorable. There's a few folks that we don't talk about what they did in the realm of leadership, but they were leaders. Yeah. They just led for the wrong side.
Yes.
But, so that's where those values are.
Different conversations for that.
Yes.
I love what you shared, though, and I think it's why you're so unarguable when it comes to this. You have this anchoring in terms of your values and what you've learned, what was instilled inside of you, and it's another reason why you're, again, unshakable and undeniable in this area. You know who you are. You know what you're supposed to be doing in this realm of communication. But today is about technology.
Yes.
And so it's the dreaded technology, it's the celebrated technology, and we get to choose.
Yeah. It's funny because when you say dreaded technology and celebrated technology, it's so much easier for me to resonate with the dreaded side of things. So we'll start with that confession.
And that's good, and you're hearing it, folks. This is Casey Cox confessing. So technology is transformational. It's transformed your life in
Yes.
so many ways. How you do business, how you communicate with your family. I mean, let's face it, technology was built for communication.
Yes.
Our cell phones, TVs, radios, computers. I mean, the majority of technology, our satellites, were designed for technology and communication. It's something that you use these tools. You celebrate these tools every day. But there's something that you don't like about the tools. What do they keep us from?
So what does the technology keep us from?
Yes.
You know what I think? I think my fear of the technology is that it would keep me from connecting with people. So as you and I are here right now, what I love is one of my identities is being, you know, that coach, that connector, that person that just can really sit, listen, and connect with you. And I think I allowed early on in my life technology to become a barrier between those two things. So I pushed technology back out, even a watch. I remember needing to get rid of my watch because when I would be in a meeting and I connecting with somebody, I'd just be doing like this. And I remember the first time somebody said, "Do you have a meeting?" And I went, "No, I just have a compulsion. I have a watch, and I'm distracted by the time, and you are my utmost priority." What time is it? How long have we been talking? Wonder what's coming up next. Am I going to be late for something else?
Love that.
And I just realized the more technology I brought in, the more distractions I might have.
Yeah.
That's my old point of view.
Yes, I see that.
But I had to acknowledge that.
Yes, well, and that's what that's why we're on the AHRK Path.
Yes.
Is where do we begin? Where does our journey begin in growth and development and overcoming? And I think technology has been so transformational, but it's been something that we've had to get accustomed to and acclimated to. We've had to kind of see, you know, is this going to help my life, but is it also going to hurt my life? And to some degree, it has done both in a lot of different areas. But you've navigated that journey, and this is kind of where the acknowledgement that there is a danger with technology in terms of connectivity to people, but I keep tying it back into communication because you've been able early on to understand that. You need to connect with your clients. You need to connect with your family. And using these technology resources was, I mean, without a doubt, it was just impossible without it. How did you, let's talk about the cell phones and your kids. I mean, just to kind of relate to our viewers out there.
Yes.
When, you know, everybody, when you saw kids started popping in with cell phones, what was your instinct?
So let me go back and, for our kids to get a little game system in their hands, they needed to learn how to read at a third grade level first. So we said, look, you know, I want Nintendo DS. I want this game system in their ages and where they were at, and the best thing to put in their hands. And how do I get a Game Boy? And what do I get? We go, you got to be able to read a book at a third grade level. My first son came through, and by the time he reached second grade, he's like, boom, I'm ready. You know, they got younger every year that they could read at a third grade level because they were like, I can't get technology until I can read at a third grade level. So therefore, guess what I'm going to do?
Love it.
I'm going to learn to read at a third grade level. So technology became a huge catalyst for them to grow and develop themselves. Nice. Going to the cell phone topic, sixth and seventh grade was like, okay, sixth grade we can endure. By the time they reach the seventh grade, you don't need it, but you want it. And again, the same thing happened. If you ever raise kids, you'll know this. Whatever you set for the first one, just know that every one that follows, they're going to pull that age down lower and lower. So our first son got a cell phone in 8th grade, but that was because he was riding his bike to school. And then it gets lower and lower all the way through. Yes. But we loved the security that the cell phone brought. Yes. For my son to ride a couple miles on his bike to school and back, no big deal. Yeah. But to have a cell phone, it just brought a little bit extra peace. And it was worth it.
Yes. Yes.
Until it wasn't.
We're coming.
Is that another topic? We're going to go there next? Oh, mercy.
But we're talking about healing for you now, not for your son. So, but again, there's healing. There's healing
yes.
in, we need to heal our mindset. We need to heal our fears and the damage that our fears do. And that's a big part of the technology is there's this new wave of change that came into all of our lives in terms of what cell phones really are and the open doors that they brought into our world. bring that healing element of it, because you acknowledge the problem with your son having a cell phone, but at the same time there was a healing element of safety, security, where you and your wife were at ease. He can go out at night with his friends, and you know he was going to be okay, and you can reach him at any time.
Yeah, we love it. We can track him everywhere now.
Well, now,
technology is beautiful.
Yeah, I'm going back now.
Oh,
Now you can place trackers in their bags.
Anyway, the question you were leading me up to was, how does technology bring about that comfort, that change, that growth?
Yes, because I'm calling that healing.
Healing.
Because to adopt the technology, to give it to your son, was to surrender the fear. And that surrender meant there's healing for you.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to pull out, because I've had to go through the same journey.
So the thing that pops up first in my mind is this little concept called Zoom. As we come through, the pandemic, Zoom became a thing. Well, I was on Zoom about 9 years ago, and it changed the way I connected with people from phone call conversations to face-to-face conversations. But what it brought was a eye-opening awakening. I'm staring at myself more than I'm talking at the other person, but I learned what my face looks like when I talk. I learned my own reactions.
Yes.
I was able to encounter that. I did not like watching myself on camera, but it always taught me so much. But Zoom came in, and it became an everyday experience, and I got very comfortable with it, and it enhanced my eye contact and connection with people. It helped me to recognize the power of a pause and breathing and asking questions with the right facial structure in the tone and everything. So the healing that took place through the Zoom was something that you can't learn in a book.
No.
And when we sit here and talk, I can't see myself.
Yes.
Will I choose to go back and watch this? And will I watch it to evaluate you, or will I watch it to evaluate me? And I've learned what a great gift that I can watch this and go, how can I become a better communicator based on what I just saw?
Yes, I love that. And if anyone out there from Zoom, his name's Casey Cox. He started way before everybody else did, so just in case you want to hit him up on that. And so I think that's a great demonstration of healing, because again, you had to surrender the fear. You had to not just reflect on yourself in what were some of your habits and traits in terms of watching yourself. Things that you grew up doing, not knowing what they look like from the outside. And as you found comfort in going, I can do without this. There was a lot of healing in your mindset and in how you engaged. Let's move us along the AHRK path to restoration, because one of the things that you've learned early on that you and I we talk about a lot is this pattern of healing became normative in your life.
Yes.
It wasn't just one thing you overcame. It was a sequence of things through technology. I mean, it's such a powerful conversation, and we're only scratching the surface with it. But it's this concept of technology permeated all of our lives in so many ways. But you found a way to make it normative. This restoration where you overcame, video, this one-on-one where I have to touch my client to help them. I have to be present with them. I can engage them through this technology and still be effective and impactful. Give me demonstrations of more of that restoration path in other areas of your life as well.
I think where I first really began to engage the power of technology and restoration was in engaging people's emotions and recognizing that emotion is powerful. And a lot of people don't know how to access their emotion. And technology can make that easier through music, through exercise, through sound, through different mediums. And now we have so many access points of getting engaged.
Can I add the word safe access points? Because we've had access to a lot of our emotions, but we bottle it up. I think technology made it safer to access this emotion, I guess, in our own privacy in different areas. I don't know if...
And for me, the lens, 15 years ago, I was a preacher. I was on Sunday. Every Sunday, I would communicate a message, and I would pour myself into this message to go, how can I take this concept and get it inside everybody else who's sitting out there? And then technology came in, and the screens, the ability to capture motion picture, to bring different styles of music and lights and energy and different ways of awakening. Somebody who at one point used to just sit in the pew was now having an experience with a concept.
Yes.
And that woke me up. Like, I don't need to be afraid of that. It's redeemable.
Yes.
We can take anything and give it purpose, give it value when it's really focused in the right value. And that gave me freedom to no longer resist technology. As we talk about a watch, I'm fascinated about the technology in watches now. I didn't wear a watch for about 4 years because I had to break my addiction.
Yes.
But now that I'm no longer there, I can begin to see, wow, this is spectacular. And what a watch can capture, which is a timepiece that's been around for ages, but now look at how technology makes it better today.
Oh, it does make it better. Yeah, I mean, the technology today in watches is just fantastic. But I just love that celebration. You've brought this restoration in this pattern of restoration that you've known. You've lived it out in so many areas of your life. You've lived it out in terms of how you communicate with your clients, how you communicate with, as you're preaching, to make more impactful, more meaningful messages that really draw that emotion out of people. And I've seen you do that. I've seen you celebrate that. And which kind of leads us into this kingdom concept of where does it all live out and why does it matter?
Well, I guess I would, in the kingdom concept, because I've kind of focused on this a little bit, everybody's invited to the table. And when I say everybody's invited to the table, technology is one of the buddies. Technology gets invited to the table of the kingdom celebration. And that technology comes often in the form of science and of advancement. But the other people that get invited to the table, the correlation of community, of religion, of connection of tradition. And sometimes we put religion and tradition as an enemy of science and technology.
Yes.
And that kingdom celebration says, no, you both have a seat at the table.
Yes.
And what I have really found in that kingdom light is saying, hey, let me discover how they collaborate. How, and there's apps out there now that they're fascinating me, how they take my breathing into technology and then give it back to me that it makes me better.
Yes.
That's to me a kingdom celebration when we're no longer trying to define myself at the absence of everybody else, but I'm able to define myself in relationship to everybody else. And I think technology has done that well.
Well, and you've done that well. I think the level that you communicate with your audience, whether it's one-on-one, personal and intimate, you've taken that to a greater audience where it's one-to-many, but it's still personal and intimate. I think that's a cue for our audience out there, is that there is a value in not losing that perspective that the technology is designed to help us communicate, but what's inside of us. So if there's authenticity inside of us, we're communicating that. If there's something that's holding us back from being authentic, come to the AHRK Path. This is what you're going to find here, is the conversation is that to help all of us and all of us become more authentic every day, more genuine every day, and more real with ourselves and more real with each other. So, and technology is designed to help us do that, and in a safe environment. I think that's one of the things that I loved about what I said. I think I said that one.
I think, yeah, you loved what you said, but I was listening, so now we're living it out. We're living it. It's beautiful.
Well, and that's why we're friends. We celebrate each other and our journey together, and we celebrate you because
Amen.
At the end of the day, it's about becoming more connected to you and you becoming more connected to us. So, welcome to the AHRK Path, and here Maha's going to tell you how you can stay in touch with us and come back. Share this with your family and friends. We want to grow this community, and we want to hear what you have to say. So thank you for tuning in.
I love that Casey found a way to take control, take charge of how technology impacts his peace, communication, and overall lifestyle. If you'd like to hear more, I invite you to check out our website, ahrkpath.com, our social media at AHRK Path, our Circles Now app. We also have courses and amazing podcast sessions created by our very own Bernard Bashura and Casey Cox. Thank you for tuning in to AHRK Encounter. See you next time.